Okay, cool. So, so I'll go back and just state. So the one of the requirements, one of the necessities for, well, let's just look at your partnership with me, right? So you need to be able to look at me and say, gosh, I can count on Chris. I can count on experience, right? In certain areas, uh, I know that Chris is going to show up. I know I can count on him. Same thing for me. I have to believe that I can count on you, right? As we're in a coaching relationship and I say, hey, this is what we need to execute. This is what we're going to work on. This is what we're going to get better on. This is what we're going to share with the team. I need to believe that I can count on you as a leader and the organization to show up. So there's these three areas. There's these three areas that we need to all work on. And actually, sometimes this conversation feels like I'm saying, hey, Amanda, I need to count on you. And this is how I'm going to be able to do it. I actually want it to be the other way and go internal with this and say, hey, I want to be someone that people can count on. Like I would say this, if I have a few things in my world, in my life as a human being that I want people to, when they think of me, they think of certain things, that's one of them. I want people to be able to say, dude, like the guy is clockwork. I can count on him. So here's how. Number one, integrity. Like we were talking about earlier, it isn't necessarily morality. It isn't like, hey, you're honest. Integrity means you do what you say you're going to do. And if something comes up that's going to prevent you from being able to do that, you let me know, you let someone else know, and you explain why it's changing. That's integrity, right? I'm going to do what I say I'm going to do. And if I can't get there, I can't finish it, I can't complete it, I can't deliver, I'm going to let you know, and I'm going to tell you why. If anywhere I show up as not that, that means you're not going to be able to count on me. There's going to be pieces of you that say, gosh, I don't think I can count on him. Second is being consistent, and being consistent in our actions, right? I'm going to show up and be consistent. I'm going to show up and do the same thing. I'm going to show up and the challenge when you're running a business or running multiple businesses is, how do I get to the place that my energy level is consistent, how I show up is consistent, my personality is consistent, my schedule is consistent. See, the more consistent we get in each area of our life and how that flows throughout the day, throughout the week, throughout the month, throughout the year, is the more likely people are going to be able to count on you. So I would venture to guess, Amanda, that there are times that where you might be thinking, gosh, everybody knows they can count on me. Everybody knows I'm going to show up. Monday, show up. Tuesday, show up. Wednesday, show up. Thursday, Friday, I show up. Guess what? Saturday and Sunday, I show up. But that doesn't automatically mean they can count on you. Because if your energy level peaks and valleys and peaks and valleys, and your stress level peaks and valleys and peaks and valleys, and how you react peaks and valleys, then people can't count on us. So as an organization, as we look around, as the consistency of action shows up, then we all begin to be able to count on each other, and that levels out that consistency for everybody. It's a critical step in why, if we can count on one person on the team, it's not going to work. If we can count on two people on the team, not going to work. We have to be able to count on everybody on that team. So that's consistency. And the third one, and this is going to sound simple, but the third step in being able to count on someone is just competence. Competence in your work shows up daily, right? No matter what day you show up as competent, no matter what day, it doesn't mean we don't make mistakes, but no matter what day we show up, we're able to think big picture. We're gonna make good decisions. We just show up as competent. Sales agents show up as competent. Operations people show up, and if they don't know how to do something, they figure it out, because that's what competence is. When we take a step back, I have to ask myself, hey, do I show up with integrity? Do what I say I'm going to do? And if something changes, do I let people know immediately as it's changing so they can expect that? Great. That means I have integrity. Am I consistent in my actions, right? Do I do things consistently? Well, if so, then people can count on me. And then, do I show up competent? Do I continue to get better at what I do, at my most critical activity? Am I competent? Can people rely and count on me being competent? If so, that's going to build a team that everybody can be counted on. Doesn't mean that people don't slip. Doesn't mean that people don't make mistakes. Doesn't mean that sometimes you look around and think, how did this not get covered? How do we not think about this? But on a whole, you wake up as a leader and you look around your team and you think, gosh, I can really count on them, right? And they look at you and they say, gosh, we can really count on her. That consistency, that competence, and that integrity is the difference between teams that actually have longevity and teams that have high turnover, and teams that, right, go through peaks and valleys in production and GCI and profitability and hiring and firing. So that lesson for us is a critical one right now, even as partners, as new partners, to learn and build that, hey, I can count on her, I can count on him, we can count on each other. Fair?
Fair.
So I thought that's a great, I'm going to stop recording here for a second.
Appreciate it.
So on page 237 and 230 in the MREA, Gary talks about capacity talent and cul-de-sac talent. And what I think is important for us to remember is oftentimes people hear cul-de-sac and we think, oh gosh, that's not real talent. Like I need someone else other than cul-de-sac talent. Yet the second word in that phrase is what?
Is the capacity.
The second word in the second phrase of cul-de-sac talent is still talent. There's still talent. Remember, right? Cul-de-sac talent is still talent. It's not cul-de-sac non-talent. It's just cul-de-sac talent. So every organization needs those people. However, in a small organization, in a launching organization, right? You're not small in production, but you're small in people. That means everybody needs to show up as capacity talent right now.
So it's like the 80-20 rule, right? So most companies, the 20% are your top achievers. The 80% are the people that you need them, right? Because you need your regular Joe to do the functions, show up and everything. And then you have the bottom, a percentage that are the people that are going to fall out or they're going to get, terminated.
Yes, although you're going to have to get very, very big for you to have a bottom level of cul-de-sac talent, because there's going to have to be so many activity-based, not this checklist off. See, right now in a small team where systems are still being for you and designed around your organization, I'll just share. Everybody needs to be capacity talent right now in your organization. The organization hasn't earned the right to bring with it cul-de-sac talent. Okay. Doesn't mean that you're not building out some activities for cul-de-sac talent. But the fact is because so many things are being done for the first time. So luxury event. Have you done 20 or 30 of those? No, right? One or two or three maybe. Right? So every time something's being done the first time, it takes capacity talent to build that, to think through that, to use critical thinking to make sure it goes right. And so cul-de-sac talent can definitely follow a system. Cul-de-sac talent can follow a checklist. Cul-de-sac talent can follow rules and they enjoy rules. But right now, everybody in the organization needs to prove to each other that you're all capacity talent. And capacity talent looks to the future. Capacity talent thinks, okay, what am I doing today and how will this help and inform the future? What will this do for me tomorrow or next week or in a month when we're doing this again? And see, right now, if people show up as cul-de-sac talent in your world, it's going to be a problem because you're going to have to be the capacity. And the fact is there's no more capacity for you to go around. How this conversation started is you're always running. And you can't be what you need to be for the organization if you're always running and basically being the capacity. And as a leader, you have to be willing to allow people to show up as capacity. Right? And build habits to show up as capacity. James Clear in his book Atomic Habits says it starts with identity. So the cool thing is you can have a team meeting tomorrow and get everybody in the room and say, hey guys, ready? Everybody has a switch, right? Go to Home Depot and buy 4 little switches, And I actually think that visually it's really important, right? I have a switch right here on my wall, and the cool thing about this switch is I hit it and the lights go off, right? And I hit it and the lights go on, and I visualize that because identity is like that. Identity is literally like, hey, listen, who do I need to be right now for this organization? Great, I'm going to hit the switch, and I'm going to allow people to give me permission to hit that switch and be who I need to step into. It doesn't matter how I've shown up to this point in time. Right now, this team, right, I need to identify and be the director of ops. I need to identify and be a lead buyer's agent. I need to identify and be the client concierge. I need to identify and be the leader of the organization. And then say, because we all have identified and agreed to be that, now process begins to change. Okay, well, what process would a director of ops take? What process would someone think through as someone that's going to lead this organization? And then the outcome shows up. We might run around saying this needs to get done, that needs to get done, and this result needs to be here, and this. Well, we're starting in the wrong place.
Right.
Now people are trying to jump in and fix processes and develop processes, and then you look around like, oh, great, because I'm the director of ops, or oh, great, because I'm the team leader. Instead, it needs to go identity, process, and then outcome, not outcome, process, identity. So it's a valuable lesson to share with the team in what's going to need to happen. And the reality is, last thing I'll share, and then we're going to spend the rest of our call just, finalizing and confirming that 135. But the last thing I'll share is I think that every problem in our organization, from a sales perspective, gets fixed by page 22 of the MREA.
What page is that? Page what?
Page 22.
Thank you.
Page 22, and that's where there's only 3 things that you're going to check in. There's only 3 things that every individual on the team needs to agree to right now. And Gary says it's approach, it's ability, and it's willingness. And the fact is sometimes we get hung up on approach and ability, and we're like, gosh, I don't know if they're good enough, or I don't know if they're the right person, or I don't know if I have everything I need, or I don't know if that is so fixable. That tomorrow can be fixed. It's willingness. The only thing I ask of my people, I don't judge on results. I don't judge on listings taken. I don't judge on homes closed. I don't judge on results. I judge based on activity, because activity, right? The 411 tells me, was I willing? Am I willing? Fact is, if I'm willing, then approach and ability is so fixable anyway. That's what our organization does so well. Approach and ability, that could be done tomorrow. But the fact is if you're not willing, and see, there's no way we can hide willingness. There's no way we get to convince someone that we're willing, because our actions show whether or not we are. We already know people on the team from a sales perspective are willing to hit their goals in 2019. Because how they show up today in December tells you if they're willing, right? People typically slow down in December. That's because they're unwilling to hit their goals in 2019. We already know that. Willingness is the most important thing. So my activity, my schedule, my Google Calendar over the last 2 weeks will tell you, hey, am I in business with someone that's willing to help me hit my goals? I share my calendar. Like, people can see it. I'm willing. So everybody look at what we were willing to do over the last 2 weeks and say, hey, are we willing to hit our goals in 2019? Because, right, last I checked, your 135 says you're going to sell 175 homes in 2019. Your 135 says we're going to close 45 million in volume in 2019. Right. Your 135 says we're going to close 1.125 million GCI in 2019, right? Your 135 outlines that. So is everyone willing to do what it takes to hit that goal? If not, we just need to find people that are more willing, because you can change approach and ability overnight. And you joined an organization that can take approach and ability and change it overnight. So then it's a willingness conversation.
Absolutely.
Cool.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Chris. I agree.
So I'm going to stop our recording.
Okay.